that brings me to your book, because you take a hard look at some of our best and brightest here in America, some of our not so great and not so bright. Sam Bankman-Fried comes to mind.
Yep.
You interviewed him repeatedly. There's a great story in the book about Elon Musk, and I was thinking about it when you were talking about your political analysis earlier and sort of the way some people approach challenges. Poker can be a very insightful way into seeing who someone is, and in particular, their risk tolerance. And why is one's risk tolerance relevant to life? Like, why do we want to know what one's risk tolerance is?
I think in part because we are now forced to make all these decisions on our own, in a world where kind of there's a loss of trust in institutions. I mean, under COVID, you kind of had to figure out in your own, especially if you're in a blue state, that, okay, I'm going to have some friends over to my private home because I'm not going to be able to go a year without social contact or whatever, right? Or I can take my mask off when I'm walking outdoors and things like that. And that some of these risks have been misstated or speculative, or people don't have your best interest in mind necessarily. I think in a world where people have to fend for themselves, then a personality type of, questioning the conventional wisdom, of questioning authority, of being a little contrarian, that tends to be rewarded a little bit more. Sometimes that personality type is correlated with being a very difficult person, I think, or going too far, or questioning the conventional wisdom when, believe it or not, it's actually right. Elon has some of that. The story about Elon playing poker is that he literally just goes all in every hand, then rebuys until he's finally broke, which is, I think, kind of a metaphor. I mean, both Tesla and SpaceX were...
Wait, was he with the all-in guys at the all-in poker game, or was this
not
a different poker game?
I played the all-in guys. Now, this is an earlier
I want to get
poker
to that
game. Yeah, but literally just doubling down and going all in every hand, and that's how he ran his companies. I mean, both Tesla and SpaceX. But then he won.
Like, wasn't the story in the book that he kept doing that? He kept losing, all in again, losing. He'd get more chips, lose, and he kept doing it until he won, and then he was like, "I'm done."
No, you will not. He eventually, I don't know if he ran out of money or he won a small pot and then gave up, but it's not a winning poker strategy.
Okay, good. So don't try that at home.
I don't recommend the Elon kamikaze poker strategy. When you're in business, though, and you're a venture capitalist, you're looking for founders that have an extremely high risk tolerance, that are willing to go all in on a contrarian idea for 10, 12, 15 years, because it might be worth 1,000x your investment, and you can only lose one time your investment. And Elon's done that twice with Tesla and SpaceX, which, in Silicon Valley, understandably gives you kind of godlike status there. Financially, the bet on Twitter seems like it probably won't be great. However, as a bet in terms of cultural influence, as much as he might get made fun of by the establishment media, I mean, Twitter, I think, is part of what has caused a vibe shift away from left progressivism toward a more conservative direction. I mean, I think Elon's not a centrist. Like, he's actually a full-bodied conservative now. He endorsed Trump. But lots of prominent journalists, center-left journalists, are still on the platform. It's still the best forum for many topics like sports, which I follow. It was fun to follow during the Olympics. So I think, look, even the Twitter bet, I think, can't be totally dismissed. And the same journalists who would say, "Oh, this is such a disaster," Twitter, are still on Twitter and still using Twitter to drive engagement to their platforms.
They are. They all said they were leaving and they went over to that Mark Zuckerberg thing.
Yeah.
And then we never heard about that thing again. And they're all back on Twitter. I see them all the time.
I mean, politics doesn't really work without conflict. And journalism doesn't really work without conflict. And so having threads or an alternative where only the left was there, or blue sky or whatever, it's just people, I don't know what metaphors I'm allowed to use in the show. It's just people patting themselves on the back, I guess is how I put it. It's not very interesting. Yeah. A circle jerk was the term I was going to use.
Yeah, I got it. Speaking of Elon's political views, he did speak to that in the interview with Trump last night. Here's a bit of it. It's Hot 6.
If you look at my record, I've actually been, I'm not some they try to paint me as a far right guy, which is absurd because I'm making electric vehicles and solar and batteries, helping with the environment. I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand when he was running for president. I'd call myself historically a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country. So this is to people out there who are in the moderate camp to say, I think you should support Donald Trump for president.
All right, Nate, I have a crazy prediction for you. I think in
Yeah.
4 years, that's going to be you. I can see your
I would
eyes
be
starting to
shocked.
open. I've been watching your evolution on X, and I see you. You are going from somebody who is committed on the left, New York Times guy, to more heterodox. You challenged a lot of the COVID lockdowns and the madness. You see the lunacy on some of these, media stories. That's my prediction. In 4 years, you're going to be sounding just like that.
I would be surprised because I think in part we've seen some acknowledgement on the left that they need to course correct a little bit. We have seen a decline in wokeness in the past 4 years, in my opinion. We have seen colleges like Harvard bring back standardized tests and more requirements for attending school there. We've seen outlets like the New York Times, I think, understand that they want to have a broad audience, probably not conservatives, not Trump fans, but broad from left to center right. So I've seen some course corrections, I think. And because what I want is I don't think that questioning authority or being skeptical of the accumulation of power, I don't think that should be right coded or conservative coded, right? Maybe it should be left coded, I don't know. But the fact that questioning the experts is now seen as being something which is very right wing. I mean, that used to be a value I associated with skepticism, a value associated with liberalism. And I can get to, if you want to get into political theory about, I call myself, I'm a liberal, but I'm not on the left. And I hope that, for a long period of time in American politics, there's been a coalition between liberalism, which is an Enlightenment political tradition, and the left that might be breaking down to some degrees. But I don't find Elon's political turn very appealing. For example, he's also tweeting out things that are misinformation, and he's gotten red pilled in a lot of ways. And I think I'm truly independent. And like I said, I'm a Kamala Harris voter this year. There are Republicans apart from Trump that I would undoubtedly find more appealing. But I know it's a cliche. I feel like I have stood in place and other people have abandoned their values a little bit. I think my faith in institutions has gone down a little bit with the COVID things and some of the things happening in higher education and so forth. I mean, there have been a lot of scandals in the Catholic Church, for example. There are good reasons why people have become less trusting of institutions and authority, and I'm sympathetic to those. There are certainly more people in my world that have the permission structure to vote for Trump has opened up in my kind of poker playing, risk taking world. That's opened up, but I am not with the program myself, and I don't think I will be in 4 years.
I've seen this happen to a lot of people. I'm just saying it's my prediction, it's my statistics and probability, which again I haven't taken since 10th grade, so take it with a big grain of salt. But I see you on an evolutionary path that I've seen many times, and I do think you're right. The ground underneath your feet shifts. I mean, I really don't see myself as feeling any different about my issues than I felt when I was at Fox News, and people used to say, oh, she's a centrist, she's a moderate. Now they say I'm somebody on the far right. Somebody even says alt-right. I don't even know what that is anymore. But, if being against children cutting off healthy body parts without their parents' permission, it makes you alt-right, then okay, whatever, you can call me what you want. Some of us have got our core issues. Are you ready to transform your nights and elevate your days? Discover the unparalleled comfort and luxury of Cozy Earth. I love Cozy Earth. I love their bamboo sheet set and their towels and their loungewear. Their sheet set's made with premium viscose from bamboo, and these sheets are incredibly soft, and they get softer with every wash. And their breathability, unmatched. They keep you cool all night, every night, which gives you a better day the next day. But that's not all. Cozy Earth's bath collection is a game changer, especially the Luxe bath sheets. These towels, crafted with a unique blend of cotton and bamboo viscose, using innovative technology, are impossibly soft and plush. Quality and durability are at the heart of Cozy Earth. And with a 10-year guarantee, Cozy Earth products are built to last. Upgrade your nights, transform your days with Cozy Earth. Just go to CozyEarth.com/Megyn and use code Megyn for up to 40% off your order. CozyEarth.com/MEGYN for up to 40% off. Mention you heard about Cozy Earth on our show, and they're going to send you a pair of free socks. How do you like them apples? Check it out. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.